Hi everyone, Janie here to share a tutorial with you on this adorable Halloween card with the little bat flying around. So I'll be right back and the tutorial will start. I started this card before I had decided to do a tutorial, so I'm going to catch you up on it. I started off with a black 5 by 6.5 inch card. It was actually pre-made, but you can cut that out of a piece of cardstock. And then to top it, I chose this purple, and I cut that 1/4 inch smaller each direction. So that would be 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. And then you open the card up. As you can see, my circle's already cut, but I'm going to show you how to do this. You line your purple on top of your black, and you can use washi tape, you can use Post-its. Sometimes I use this blue painter's tape. You want something that's not going to really make this stick together because you're going to have to take it apart for what I'm doing. So you just want to make sure that you can hold this in place while it goes through your Cuttlebug or other embossing machine. And so while they're together, you pick the right size circle. I'm using a Sizzix circle die. And I made sure that I picked the right size that, let me grab my little image over here, that the image would loosely fit inside of it. So that's why I chose this particular size. You just judge and do the circle you want. If you don't have a die cutting machine, anything to do this with, you can use a template and cut it out. If you're anything like my daughter, you give her a little cutting knife and she can cut anything. So you run this through your die cutting machine and you'll get this circle. And then you're going to end up taking it back apart after you get it out. And I don't know if you can see on here really good. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There we go. I actually ran this through again with a embossing folder that I have. This has trees on it. This is the embossing folder that I used right here. It is a Cuttlebug and it's called Birch Tree. And I just thought that that was going to be the perfect, background for what I'm doing. So I will be back in a minute and we will continue this. Now we're going to get all the pieces together that we're going to need. So we have this bat, which is just cute and perfect. I love the little heart on it, and well, it is just scary enough, but yet cute at the same time. And that is from Sunsational Stamps, and it is called Batty for Halloween. And there you go. That's what it looks like. And as you can see, I've already colored it. So I stamped it, colored it, and cut it out. And then I stamped another one. And in order for it to show up on black, I used Memento Luxe, and this is called Gray Flannel, because I just needed it to show up just enough. Let me see if it'll show up on there. There you go. You can see just enough for me to cut it out, because that's not going to show. That is actually going to go directly behind this bat. They're going to actually be attached. So that will be the back, that will be the front. I also cut out a label out of orange and then inked the edges in purple. And I did that using this little die right here. This is called 9 Tiny Tags and Little Labels from Paper Artist, which is a hot off the press product that you can get at Paper Wishes. And then I needed a moon. And now I have this really awesome paper. I really don't even know what it's called, but to me it already looked like the moon. But you can use just a plain piece of cardstock and ink it up to look like the moon. I cut this circle just a little bit bigger than the circle we cut in here. You can actually cut it the same size, but I wanted to go a little bit bigger because it's going to go right in there and be the moon. And another thing you're going to be needing for this, I used this illusion cord for beading, but fishing line should work, or even a piece of thread. So these are the things that I'm going to be using next, and I will be right back with that. Okay, well, I was off camera. I cut about 4 inches of this string, oh, what was it called again? The illusion cord that's clear. So you can't see it really well. And I turned this little bat over and I put some glue dots down and I attached it to the glue dots. And then actually I put a couple more glue dots over the top because, well, I'm into overkill, you can't be too safe. And what I'm going to do next is glue that together. So if you want to watch me do that, I guess I should have had out my little glue stick here. If I'm not using my Beacons 3-in-1, usually I'm using my Zig 2-way, trying to get it there so you can see it. So I will just glue up all these edges here. And glue this. Here, I'm going to have to get a little bit closer, so I'll probably go off camera here. There we go. Okay, make sure it's glued on really good. And as you can see, we have this. My lighting is just not doing good today, but we have this little bat on a little string. Okay, now I'll set that aside for a minute. Let me move these things aside. And I flipped this over. So this is the front, this is the back side, and I put a couple of glue dots there as well because we have to now glue this guy right in there. So I just kind of get it centered where I want it and attach it to those glue dots. And like I said, I like to be really safe, so I'm going to add a couple more glue dots kind of right over the top. All right, and now I'll just trim off that excess because we obviously don't want that showing. Okay. And, oh, the lighting in here is really horrible. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is we're going to attach this like that. So I'm going to stop the camera for a minute so that I can do that, and we'll be right back. While off camera, I did put the front layer on. I'm going to tell you that I like to use Beacons 3-in-1. I swear by this stuff, would never get caught without it for things that I might not get put in the right place. This allowed me to, you don't peel it back up or anything, but you can slide it around until you get it exactly where you want it. And you have a few seconds to do that before it really sticks. And it sticks quick. And also, while off camera, I put the moon in there. And yep, I stamped in there. You're wondering where the rest of that is. It's right here. This will go on the front. Batty and 4 were part of the stamps for this stamp set, but I didn't want it to be Batty for Halloween. I wanted it to be Batty for you. So that's what I did. And I haven't put this on the front yet. So we're going to close this up so you can see. The weird thing is, for you to get the right light, I actually have to lay my card down so you can't really see the bat moving around in there when it's upright. But it does, and it is so cute. So I stamped this using Seedless Preserves Distress ink, and that's also what I inked the edges of it with. And another thing I did while I was off camera is I made these little tiny bats, which you probably can't see really well. And actually, I'll flip it over. Yeah, that way. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. But I got those by stamping, again, using that kind of that gray ink. And I got the little bat stamp right here from another Sunsational Stamps set. This is just really cool, this Halloween stamp set. I love it. You'll be seeing another project that I'm using it for, but I used that little stamp right there and stamped them and cut them out. And I'm thinking about, placing them, around on the front of the card. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach Batty right down here. And I'm going to be using 3D foam squares. This is another thing that I never want to be without. I have them in different sizes. These are 1/2 inch. They come in 1/4 inch. They come in white. That's what the little ones look like. Those are the 1/4 inch. But I'm going to be using a couple of these big ones here. So just plop those on the back. 2 should be quite plenty. Peel off their little backing. And let me find the right spot. You can lift them up for a second if you don't push them down too hard. And that looks about right to me. So, there we go. Batty for you. And I'll play around with these little bats and we'll see where they end up at. And then I'll come back and show you the finished card again so you can get a good look at it. Well, as you can see, I figured out where to put those bats, and I also used that dimensional adhesive on this. And I've got it in a position where you can see it moving around. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you try it yourself. And thank you so much for stopping by. Happy crafting, everyone.